we're moving into an old bus shelter and like doing it up.
Oh,
yeah.
You've been videotech, haven't you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
well,
know,
you don't-
Videotech. Why do
No,
I know
Ahead
that
4.
name?
Remember in South
What,
Woodland?
at the top of Elmwood?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, like you know, Ahead 4, the computer guy, Rich. He
Yeah.
bought that ages ago, and
Sam's
we're
got the
going to.
pornos. Sam's got the pornos.
Yeah. Do I need to take my DVDs back there now?
That's
then?
right. Panda Pops.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
That sounded very official,
Live.
didn't it?
We're live.
We
First time ever.
are live.
Yeah. So when do you move there?
Well, we haven't sorted it out yet. There's a lot to sort out. It's quite literally an old bus shelter in the Reminiscing. We've been like the bloke that owns it. We've said, can you clear it out first, like the caravan and all the old like.
Keep a bus. Keep a bus.
It's horrendous. Like maybe the rats, get rid of them. That would be nice. But we're gonna do a proper fit out and have a nice bigger modern office, hopefully.
Paul Doe, his name is. He used to do all the sign writing for all the cars at Toomey's when I worked there back in my failed car sales career. And, I kept hold of him, and he does all the vinyls and the vans and stuff now as well. So, and I messaged him. I said, I want a big sticker and a bit of glass. Can you do me something like it? And he's like,
a bit of glass.
yeah. And he come with this. Then we had that. That's plastic. And then,
That's the best sticker on a bit of glass I've ever seen.
Yeah.
it's cool, isn't it? So
He's
you had
improvised.
That one, and then the photo. We have to have a trio photo on the one outside.
Right.
And that becomes the experience one. So
You know what
people
you
see
could
it
do
online.
over the top of that is put a spirit level there. So it would
Oh,
look
there
really.
we go. Very clever. Very clever. Let me stick that down. I don't know that. Lads, welcome to the first guest podcast, because the first one will be some of the in-house team. I'm not going to ruin the thunder for Alex. The Construction Sport Podcast. It's been coming for many years. You've both been on a podcast with me before
We have.
in Mayfair, our old office.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one is very much more in touch with what we're
Yeah.
about. And it's brought to you by Construction Sport, Mental Health Hydrated.
It's nice water, this
The
as
liquid
well.
of choice. It's the finest springs
Yeah. Peckham.
in this side of Barbados.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's good.
It's good, isn't it?
That
It
tastes
tastes the
exact-
minerals.
Yeah,
Lovely drop.
All the minerals in there.
I feel more mentally clear already.
Exactly. So it's about mental clarity. Yeah. In partnership with the Considerate Constructor Scheme.
It's a good idea, though.
Go on it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very good.
Feel free. Yeah, so we had it quite a few times when we've had people come to us wanting help and they're not really helping themselves.
Yeah.
And then we got to a point of what is the most basic way of people helping themselves. And it was like, just get hydrated.
Yeah.
That's true though, isn't it?
Yep.
Like,
Beer
so-
fear on
so-
a Monday morning, or people
Yeah.
in the Monday club.
Some of the lads on site, like I don't know how they survive. Like they're like out all day,
Yeah.
sweating buckets
Yeah.
all day, no food, then just have a whopping great dinner at night, and then that's it.
And a
Repeat.
cup of tea.
I had a chat with Ben King, who we was talking about the other day. Actually, said a scaffolder passed out some scaffolding. And he was like midway through, I think, 100% clarity on this story, but it sounded like the scaffold was putting the scaffold up, so it wasn't actually fucking ready.
Yeah.
And the geezer passed out on the scaffolding, and they couldn't actually get him down properly. And it turns out he drunk like 4 cans of Monster. And it's 30 odd degrees, and he's just like having heart palpitations.
Shouldn't laugh.
on the
Shouldn't laugh,
platform.
but it's not ideal.
Yeah.
No.
So basically, he should have
Yeah.
had some water. And if he would have come to us, we could have issued him some water.
He would have
We're
been
the only company out there that does it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you
Suitably
come to us.
hydrated.
Yep, so that is it. How is life in the hands? We've got WRS Contracts, Sam
Yes.
Sharp, you've been on it before, as I said,
Welcome.
and Geoff Vincent of GVR Solutions.
Yep.
The founding party, 50% of the founding parties, along the others,
Yeah.
got on board day one.
Yeah.
So
Seems like a while ago now.
It does.
it was just before COVID, wasn't
It does come a long way. Look at
Was
this
it
now.
really?
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? It's changed.
We're all a bit
It's
older.
changing.
A lot
Older.
of great come out of COVID. To be fair,
Yeah.
a lot of bad.
Yeah.
A lot of bad. Quite a bit of bad. Like
Yeah.
we're still paying for it now, but
Yeah.
Some good come. Look at this podcast studio
Yeah,
that you
exactly.
got.
Yes, bring back COVID.
Every cloud.
We had our best year ever during COVID. I don't know what happened.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone
Oh,
else
because
was
it all
in
kind of
hospital.
knocked on after for you, did you say before?
It was
With
the
Tiling World?
Yeah, when it was obviously like there was a massive advert like knock-on effect of all the external trades, so they all got stopped for some reason. But they just all the stuff that was built had to carry on, and we were on a lot of large-scale sort of like
Yeah.
new build developments. They were moving fast,
Yeah.
and I think it was just you've been to a few. I think you've been to all of them actually.
Yeah,
You've come and
yeah.
seen them. Nine Elms and Wimbledon, like some of the really really big ones that were
Yeah.
just all come into like we had to make up the time.
Yeah.
that was lost during that 3-month
Yeah.
period. So like it ended up being a great year for us, to be honest.
Yeah. How did it work for you, Geoff?
We did all right out of it as well. I think it was good for us because, you know, at one point, anyone that was outside in London probably worked in construction.
Yeah.
So, because everyone else in the city, banking, finance, they were all at home. So it was brilliant because the city was just full of construction staff. So
Yeah.
you could just talk to anyone, obviously at 2 meters distance.
Well,
But-
construction kept the country alive.
Yeah.
It did.
100%.
Like construction, you know, and it's a bit strange because we were just working in the office now, but like all the boys were sent out like cattle.
Yeah.
Go and get on with it.
Yeah.
You know, there was all the rules, but all the lads in construction, everyone was nestled in like with their 2 meters home, like all snuggling up, getting paid to do nothing. All the construction boys got thrown out.
Yeah.
Go on, go and keep us alive, would
Yeah.
you please?
Definitely.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I was working on a bridge on the A120 going to Harwich, and we were down as critical workers. So that we just
Yeah.
was fixing a bridge.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
never going to fall over. It was
No.
absolutely fine, but there's a few cracks in it, so they put it down as critical work. It's part of National Highways kind of project. So it's like, yeah, can you? And then we had a scaffolding we were working off, and I was the temporary work supervisor technically, and the scaffold was only 1 metre wide, and it was like, well, we can't walk around each other with
No.
social distancing.
Yeah.
So the size of the scaffold got tripled,
mad.
and it literally
wasn't it?
took the job on for a few more months. And it was an absolute
What a
result
mad-
because they didn't know what
mental.
was coming. So yeah, the whole
Yeah.
scaffold, it took ages more,
What a mad time.
and it kind of saved us. And then I went from then on to that finished up, and I went on to nights with Costain doing survey works on the A12. But there was no one on the road, was there?
Yeah, that
Because
was the
that
picture,
first
wasn't it? I think
Easter, wasn't it? It was Easter
Yeah.
time. And
the
it was-
lockdown, when you saw like the day after the lockdown and the picture of the M25
Yeah.
and there's no one on it, you're like,
They closed the
something wrong here.
A120 for us at Easter, and I think they said it's the first ever time they've allowed that road to be closed at Easter weekend in history, because it's always like the first kind of summer
Right.
trip to Clacton what people would go down there to. So it's normally like packed out that road,
yeah,
and it was completely just nothing. There was
I don't know if
nothing.
it was a strange thing to do, but I think my old man like got in the motor and drove to London and took a load of photos because he was like, "You're never going to see the city this dead."
yeah.
It-
Maybe
it
it's his
goes-
photo I saw.
Yeah, there was Mr. Trish Getty. There was people going around there, weren't they? Like cycling, just going around London, like
Yeah.
panning around. Even though was you allowed, was you not? Who knows?
There was one good thing that came out of it all though. Takeaway beers. That became a thing.
Takeaway beers and takeaway roast dinners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
It
take
was,
away
isn't it?
everything.
Yeah, like,
Subscription packs. of
everyone-
any
No one's
booze.
left home since.
Yeah.
everyone just
Yeah.
overdid everything, didn't they?
Yeah.
So like become like a massive alcoholic, like drunk. So we'd sit up on this video chat. I can't remember what it was called. Like, oh, what was it?
We done the horse
House
racing.
party.
House party.
Yeah.
We'd sit on house party, like all of us, just get absolutely obliterated. But
yeah.
then we were also doing like serious fitness challenges and like
Yeah.
running 10Ks every day. So like, was like the fittest I've ever been, but also like the most like disgusting.
People having a cup of teas, they reckon, just to booze him, weren't they? On
Yeah.
Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Because there are real alcohol problems of kind of encroaching
Like,
in.
yeah, jokes aside, there was definitely like everyone was drinking hard. Like
Yeah.
we would sit
Yeah,
up and drink
yeah.
till 3 a.m, which you'd never do.
Remember, we
No.
had one for Harvey, didn't we? We done the horse racing.
Yeah.
The horse racing thing.
Just
I'm
another excuse to
absolutely
get like
battered on your
ridiculously
own.
drunk, like just
Yeah.
dressed up in our like German football shirts on and just got hammered.
Yeah. On your own in the kitchen. People looking.
The wife's walking past, like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it was the house party one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny times. But
Strange times. We're
we've
still
got
recovering
through
from it now, to be honest. Like I would
Yeah.
say we still are.
Oh, we will be for a while, I think.
You know, like the construction industry.
Yeah.
Like I would say some of the jobs that we're still working on are definitely been budgeted before COVID.
Yeah.
So there's been COVID and that raised all the prices. Then Ukraine, obviously our particular industry, the tiling world. All
Yeah.
the clay comes from Ukraine. All of that, like the
Yep.
gas that fires the kilns came from that way. So it was just like,
Yeah.
It's-
And it's Brexit at the same time as well,
and
wasn't it?
yeah.
So it was
yeah.
like the most divisive time in the world, wasn't it? It was like you was anti-jab or pro-jab. You
Yeah.
was Brexit or non-Brexit.
Yeah.
And then just go out, don't go out. And it was just
I
like
don't think
everything was. But I think that is today. I think you see it now.
you don't recover
It's
from
why
it.
everything's so divisive.
Combative,
isn't
isn't it? Everything's like you look at America, like it's just a war.
There is no right or wrong,
Yeah.
but you are wrong if you don't agree with me. And
Yeah.
it's just like savage.
I'll be glad to see the back end of it now. I think that 2025, hopefully, like jobs that are being budgeted like in 2023, we're going to start recovering from it now. Hopefully, the government certainty. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, then you had the election, didn't you, this year?
Of course.
Which
yeah.
has been like,
Another-
yeah, and you've also had the interest rate rises. It's
Yeah.
been one thing after another.
Yeah,
And we just need a bit of peace now.
bit of
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
And everyone says, "Is it ever been this bad?" And it's easy to say no because we're in it, I suppose. But
the 1800s would have something to say about that when you're like throwing shit out
Yeah.
the window.
Yeah.
It's not great. Well, then was it? Like,
they weren't social distancing, was they? That's
no,
the thing.
definitely not. No, everyone was like pillaging each other for food. Now
They had it easy. They had it easy.
it definitely feels bad now. You know,
It's
I
tough.
think it's just so strange. It's difficult for everybody. Like everything costs so much money.
Well, you look at the businesses going bust, and we said ISG was just 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Oh, there's one a week at the moment. It feels
Big
like.
ones are going,
Yeah.
aren't they? Yeah.
But
Construction
they're
inquiry,
like-
there's someone new every time.
Yeah, they're like
Yeah.
technical liquidations a lot of the time, though, because they're not like there are a few of them are bad businesses, if you want to call it that. Like, obviously, no one knows the ins and outs, but like, there's definitely been times where people have just made a few slightly wrong decisions, mainly around costing.
Yeah.
Which has then snowballed out of control. And actually, you've got good firms that have got really good people working for them.
Yeah.
Like some of the people you see in these businesses that are going under, you're thinking like, you're a top level professional
Yep.
in your industry. And you've obviously had no impact in this business going under. But then, like you say, you get Brexit, you get half the workforce going back to Europe.
Yeah.
You've got like cost of materials going up. The labour goes up because there's less
Yeah.
of them. Everyone's
Yeah.
retiring. So it's like, it doesn't take much for it to go wrong.
No.
It'd be
You've got to
really
very
interesting
careful.
to see if there was trends with the likes of, say, the top ones of my head, ISG, Buckham's, Carillion. Is there like a core team at the top of those, like the core 10 or something?
Yeah.
Who are where that's gone wrong, or is there like a level of hierarchy of those people? There's the cut off of those people really had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, is it like board level?
Yeah.
Or how low does it
Because
go?
we went into Deutsche Bank last year, we done the ice skip challenge with the guys at
Yeah.
ISG, and it was brilliant. And like I say, bang on. I hadn't really heard of ISG properly. The whole fit out world is completely new to
Yeah,
me. Isn't it?
we was just talking to Jeff. Like, I'm not in that world at all. Like,
Yeah, and
some of
it-
our competitors are, but it's
yeah.
commercial fit out is just a totally different game.
There's
Yeah.
a really interesting fact about like 80% of construction projects in London for the next 40 years, the buildings are already there because
Yeah. Well, that
everything's
makes
fit out.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything's fit out, stripping out.
Mm.
There's not new stuff going up. It's all just
Yeah.
working on existing.
Or they just have to build up as well.
Remember during
because-
COVID as well,
yeah.
they said it was over. They was like, it's over. No one's
the
going to
fit-
work in the London.
fit
Now it's
out.
busier than ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fit out
than ever.
market's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
crazy, isn't it? So yes, the three of us really are from all very different worlds of construction.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, say there's so much to construction in there. It's unbelievable. Yeah, because
Yeah.
ours is all groundwork, civil engineering. We don't see indoors anywhere, and it's just mud and dirt.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's savage as well. And I'm back on site at the moment. And it's been brilliant over the last 6 to 8 weeks, and I've been across a few other projects. I'm not on that job, but it is, and it's given me a real reflection of this industry is what it is, and it is good, and it is savage, and
Yeah.
not much is going to change that the way that it is.
Well, it can't.
And
can
we
it?
have. I'm having bust ups at work, and we have the bust ups with the lads, and
Yeah.
seeing people just getting axed, bang, and being part of
Mm.
it when people get axed, and it ain't
Yeah.
pretty. But it's
No.
just, but that is construction, I think,
Yeah.
isn't it?
This is the life we've chosen, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
it's hard to get people.
construction life chose us. Jeff.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Like Neo. But like, how do you get people attracted to that though?
I was just about to say that's the biggest problem at the moment.
You
Is
could
that
go-
like the future of this great industry is definitely in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a message today. I'm actually going to read it out because I get quite a few now.
Like, obviously, like
I've just
we
seen-
rely on foreign labour,
Yeah.
and they're so good.
Yeah.
You know, we can't deny that
Oh,
foreign
100%.
labour keeps this country afloat.
Yeah.
But one
Steve,
day when they go,
Steve, during my recent travels, I've been speaking to quite a number of young people and tell them about opportunities in construction. The immediate reaction is, you won't get me into that industry when I ask them why. They say the conditions of insecurity or short-term employment and that way being treated, and the lack of proper training in terms of what they work under when you get paid, and those have relatives in the industry are warning them off. With towers of feeling alone, very little support mechanisms in place, every reason to not take the job opportunity to earn good money is the last of their concerns. They see very little reason to go into the industry. They see those who work in it as not being treated equally, or just a means to complete a job. So yeah, just saying.
It's mad, isn't it?
oh,
Yeah.
But you know, construction is the highest average paid salary out of any industry in the UK.
Yeah, this is another thing I get because I did.
More than banking, more than insurance, all of it.
Yeah,
you're the master of your own destiny, aren't you? You know, you can earn like as much as you want to earn if you're working on a good rate.
I had been working on about 70 quid a day, I think, back in the day, doing groundworks. 70, 80 quid a day it would have been.
That's good for you.
That's a week. And that's overpaid. Under delivery. And then I literally went on I was in and out of operations, and then I couldn't work the tools too much. And then I got my rail ticket whilst I was actually laid up. And then I went on jobcentre.com. And
Yeah.
was just like, best recruiters in the world. Sorry, Geoff.
Yeah. Not the best bald one though.
They're the best. Yeah, there's a different category of people in that shop. But, the online one, and it literally said we need a PTS, a rail-based foreman starting tomorrow. And I was like, and it had this Irish name at the bottom of it. I won't say how they are. I won't give it away too much. But they literally, I rang him up, and he just literally in the biggest Irish way was like, pretty much just like, can you breathe? Have you got high vis? See you tomorrow morning. And then I went up to £16 an hour. And it was based on 10 hours. It was actually in 12-hour days. So I'd gone from 80 quid to then
You've over doubled your wages.
to plus 200 or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. And I'm like, is this right? Am I doing this? I was like, just shut up and just keep
Keep your
the
head down.
paycheck signed. And we was getting 6 days. I was doing half a day on a Saturday and getting time and a half for that, a full shift at time and a half.
Yeah.
And I was only like young 20. I was like, holy hell. I was like, earning clearing good money for that age as well.
Yeah.
At the time, and literally just being a groundworking foreman. I was like, no one's ever told me about this. It's only because I just went on this job and found this random rate of this job, and they were desperate, very desperate. But I also got told, Steve, go for a job that is above you and what you think you'll struggle with a little bit. It was pretty much a foreman at the time. And he said, go for it, get the job. But by the time they find you out, you have 2 or 3 weeks experience. And that's kind of get rid of it.
And a careers person advised you that.
That was another foreman I worked for.
Fake it till you make it.
Steve Calder it was, yeah. And he said that by the time they find you out, you have a few weeks experience. And they did that, and I never got sacked. So I did have to find out, and it's quality. And that went from then, and then from there, that went on to Crossrail. I was working on that.
Yeah.
But people never, so like we can go in now, groundworkers. I was speaking to someone that's sounded a few other boys last week, and 230, 240, 250 a day just to be a constructor, just a ground worker.
Yeah.
You haven't got no stress of managing people or anything. You just go look after your own.
The cost of living's calling for it, you know. Like prices are going up. We're in a weird flux. Like this is what I was saying about like the industry as a whole I think is in a difficult position because budgets are still probably floating around pre-COVID, pre-Brexit, pre-Ukraine. That's where the budgets are.
Yeah.
The real life construction costs are here now. Cost of living is where it is. So Labour are asking for more money because they need to put food on the table. You're paying more for material. The real world construction costs are up here. Yeah. Everyone's budgets are down here. The only people that I feel properly cop it, are the subbies in the middle.
Yeah.
Because they've got to keep their businesses going. But they need to pay more to get people to work for them. And we're also having to knock our margins to stay competitive. And there's people out there still that are definitely doing it for nothing because they need to keep the machine moving.
Yeah, just to move
the machine. Just turn over, you know.
Turn it over.
You know, it doesn't last long.
No.
Like at ISG, it doesn't last long. You know, one little mistake and you're starting to pay for jobs and then all of a sudden that runs out real quick.
Just the people who get crippled, isn't it? The people in between it. Like you say, family businesses or people have
supply chain.
blood, sweat and tears for years and years and years, and they get fucking hammered.
We're down. Our margins are down from where they were during COVID and before COVID. You know, that's just the nature of the beast. I mean, like I said, we're doing okay, but it could be better. It would be nice as an industry if everyone just said, "Look, enough now. This is the cost of it. You like it or lump it." But there's just always that one person that's keeping it down.
Who's leading the drive in prices down? The actual subbies themselves, though. Is that people chasing work?
I think it's fear.
Really?
Fear of not winning the work and not being able to generate the turnover is more scary than not earning as much money out of it.
Yeah.
And people are taking risks because they're worried, and that's what people do. And they panic, or they're not being themselves because they're not earning the right amount of money. They take risks that they wouldn't have otherwise done in fear of it's fear of missing out, really. Yeah. And it's better to take that risk and hope something doesn't go wrong than not win the job and definitely know there's nothing to fight for.
Yeah, because then you can totally go the other way. See, I refuse to go down to those sorts of rates on some, and then all of a sudden
stick to your guns. Isn't it?
Stick to your guns. Holding fire. But then all of a sudden you're 6 months deep, and you're like, I haven't won a job in 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, we're like we're surviving off old contracts, but that's going to dry up real quick. You know, like, and it's a horrible feeling because now actually you're going, I'm going to have to do something about this. But it's been for us, it's been crazy. It's been like that, and we've gone bang, we've won loads of jobs in a row, and it's fantastic. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
because every time I catch up with you, we catch up probably once every few months, once a quarter maybe, and it's literally like we really could do something coming in today. Then suddenly I come next time coming out, it's all coming. It's just, but it's that construction. It's like mental health is a fucking.
I think it's
really,
just industry. Well. It's just being in business. I mean, you know, I've got a mate who runs a scaffolding firm. He's gone and done this big marketing thing, spent loads of money on it, because he was quiet, and then doesn't need it now because all the jobs that he weren't there are now there. So he's got, and even I spoke to Ben King. You mentioned we spoke a few months ago, and we were talking about like business development and how we can sort of cross pollinate with contacts and stuff like that.
Yep.
And you know, we were both going, it's quite, like that one. We were like, it's a bit quiet.
Big words.
Yeah. I couldn't spell it. And then it was like, oh no, we don't need to do this now. We're really busy. So it's, and we both were saying the same thing. So it's trying not to be feast or famine. It's trying to operate at like 80% the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's really difficult.
And there's again that marketing campaign thing as well, Nick. So I've got fascinated with the whole marketing world, and so we're doing this over the last few years. Never thought I would, but to keep that going. Because if it does drop off, you've got to start up again.
Yeah.
Because traction,
Yeah,
how it works,
and
you've got
you know,
to keep...
your bank account slowly come down a little bit, and then you got to wedge out all that money to get it going again. It's a really tough time at the moment. Like I said, we personally, and I keep referring back to us. I'm only talking about my experiences. We keep like it's going okay. Some consistency would be nice, but you're not going to have consistency when there's always one company willing to go down there. There's always one that's willing, and you hear the prices when you get your feedback, and you're like, how? Yeah. There's always someone, because you don't know what their position is. They're like, I need this one. So if there's always one company that's like, I need this one, and they're willing to do it, all of a sudden snowballs into a...
Yeah, it's race to the bottom, isn't it?
Yeah, but hopefully as an industry we band together almost and say, enough's enough of racing to the bottom. This is what I cost. Yeah. You want to use me or not, you know?
Do all your clients have the same kind of payment structures?
Pretty similar. Obviously, like in the sort of new build flat development, they're all pretty similar. You know, most of it...
Good payers, bad payers? Not to ask you to call anyone out.
No. For the most part, I would say our people that we work for are really good. We've uncovered a few newer clients that are a little bit more difficult. It definitely feels like they try to make it difficult. Yeah. But a lot of the sort of big blue chip companies, no, they are pretty good payers. But I've always been they'll pay you well if you do everything you say you're going to do. You sign up a contract, you say, oh, yep, okay, we'll do this Q&A, we'll do this, we'll do that. You know, you do that, you should get paid. You know, like people, when they don't do that, and you go, oh, why haven't I been paid? So, well, you haven't done what you're contractually obliged to. Yeah. So we've always, touch wood, I think obviously having good relationships with a lot of people that we work for too it's okay. You know, like it's...
But like you say, you don't go down that road when you know there's a bad payer and you're thinking we might take this job just for the sake of it, and then you think...
To be fair,
risk that comes there.
To be fair, if we've done everything that we're contractually obliged to do, we're quite stern with actually. You know, if someone does decide to play silly, then you're like, okay, well, we'll just put it down to one man. And push a broom around until it's resolved. You know, but touch wood, that hasn't happened in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah,
I think in your like the subcontract world, you've got, as long as you've got leverage, you will always get paid, because obviously, like you say, you can withdraw guys, and we can do that to a degree as well. Obviously, you don't want to be doing that, but it's like you don't want to be having that conversation in the first place. If you've done your job, you should be getting paid for it. And I think like that is part of the problem with the subcontract. But I know for a fact, like with a few of the businesses that the bigger main contractors that have gone bust, I obviously won't name any names, but like there are companies that have gone under where their clients knew that they were in trouble and deliberately didn't pay them because they knew it was going to send them under, so they wouldn't need to pay that amount.
I've heard that about people. Martin Guest, one I heard that he didn't get paid.
Yeah,
because they knew he was fucking dying.
Yeah,
they wasn't paying him.
That's horrendous.
Like, and that's what you are dealing with.
Wrong uns, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolute wrong uns.
I find retention is a big thing. To me, you
Yeah.
have to fight for your retention. You have to fight for your retention.
So educate me on retention. So it's more a case of a company will hold back X amount to literally a bit of a warranty sort of thing for X amount of time. If it's fine, they will then give if it goes past that amount of time.
Yeah, typically retention would be 3 to 5% held on your contract value, which you agree to, and they hold it from every payment as almost like a retention sum.
It's like a kitty, isn't it?
Little insurance.
It's almost, yeah. Like, and when you go and you, technically, it's meant to be released when their practical completion happens. So as soon as they sign off with their client and they walk off the job, it should get instantly released, but it doesn't. You have to apply for it.
Apply for your money.
You apply for your. If I told you the amount of money that we've got held on retention, like with builders, that's our money that's in their bank accounts. It's actually make you sick.
Is it?
Yeah, because if you had that in your bank account, you'd be like, oh, lovely. Happy days. They'll keep that. That's a good sum of money. But again, not everyone's the same. But there's some out there that don't give it. None of them will give it to you. I feel like I'm not speaking ill on the people that give me work because they're not the majority of them. But no, I do not know a builder that will go, oh, by the way, here's your retention.
Yeah,
here's
it's not
the 20,
forthcoming.
Here's the 30 grand retention that I owe you. They're going to be very quiet about it because they'd rather it in their bank than your bank.
Yeah.
I've ever seen all the exhibitions I go to, all seminars, panels, whatever, always comes up, and it's always been a bit above my head, my pay grade or remit. Really, I'm thinking, I don't know what these blokes are talking about. And but I was going, yeah, completely with it. Think about the mental health. Think about the mental health. But yeah, it always comes up.
It's a tough one to feel like you're not moaning about the industry that provides you with your lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
No,
not.
but they all
I'm
agree.
definitely not. But if this is just real talk, like if you're in the construction industry, you have to. It's sometimes hard work to get your retention.
Yeah.
Like to the point where you're like, why am I not getting paid? And for me, the decency of just responding to the official email where you've claimed it, where people just. It's almost like they delete
Pretend
it
it's
or
not there.
pretend it's not
It
there.
was a big one,
And months and months and months are going, and then you find out, oh, it was the builder's year end, so they wanted their accounts to look good. So you didn't hear from them. All of a sudden their year end accounts have gone in, and then all of a sudden your retention comes out. It's
What about our year end though?
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It was a big talking point at Construction Waves CFO Summit.
Right.
Curtin ones.
Yeah.
We done that. All the CFOs, and there were some big players there, and they were all of them were brought it up. All of them agreed with it.
Yeah.
And all said retention.
About retention.
But it's the same old thing though, isn't it? Unless everyone comes together and says we're not doing it, it won't change.
I don't have a problem with retention because I think there's a
place for it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we don't hold retention on our men.
Yeah.
You have to, because all of our men are subcontract. If they go and absolutely wreck a bathroom and then run off.
Yeah.
They've been paid. It's. I have to get that bathroom fixed.
Yeah,
they've gone. They're off. Like God knows where they are. So there is a place for it, but it just has to be done the right way. And for me, it's only about releasing it. It shouldn't have to be something you ask for. Yeah. It should be automatic.
Yeah.
But that's just it's been like that since I've been in the industry now for 16 years. It's been like that since. The day I started.
Do you have any level of responsibility with yours, Geoff, with any people in the positions you put them in what they deliver? In terms, I suppose.
You do. You have an obligation to make sure that everyone is so in our contract as such. Like we have to make sure that people are reference checked and we've done our due diligence. The problem with what we do is we deal with people that and people are. Can be slightly unreliable and bend the truth where it suits them. By and large, we've got a very good track record with placements and not having problems because we mainly only deal with referrals. So I think you start looking in certain places, you're going to find a certain type of person, so you kind of know where to look and where not to look. But ultimately, because a lot of what we do is permanent stuff. It does still fall on the employer to make sure that look, if it goes wrong, we don't ever get any work again, do we? So, and 90% of our clients are repeat business. Yeah. So, but it's as long as you're dealing with a commodity that changes its mind and sort of does what it wants, it's always a bit tricky. But on the contracting side, if we don't like if we sent someone that didn't have the right tickets, or the tickets were expired, or they had a criminal record, like we do a lot of the airports. So like the due diligence on the airports is crazy, and it makes it quite reassuring as a customer of those airports every now and then.
Every 2 weeks.
Yeah, well,
Big flyer.
I've been to Stansted twice this week. I've been to the Hilton
He's got
twice.
into the PJ.
Yeah. But no, there's the checks and everything like that. There's an obligation on us to make sure that's correct.
We had some good conversations last year about recruitment and with that side of it, because we started going with the groundwork side of it, getting more and more people kind of pushing that way a little bit. Do we go into it?
Yeah,
and it's a different world, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like white collar, blue collar thing.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean it's we're just based around being honest and trying to do the right thing. But like you're only so in control of a situation because you can be honest, the client can be honest, but the candidate might not be honest, or the client might not be honest, and things change. This is the big
and that's
thing,
what I saw actually, because I was like, the guy, what we've really done, we've done a few jobs recently, and we're not doing them anymore, but in the house bashing world, and you could see just companies weren't willing to spend any money on labour.
No.
They wanted everything for it.
Yeah.
And then we were like, we're just going to turn around staff every week here, because as soon as they get a phone call for more money, they're gone.
Yeah.
And the clients and such were like, well, that's what we're paying. We just got to the point, okay, see you later. We pulled out of it.
Yeah. The best clients we've got at the moment are the ones that it's not about cost, it's about value.
Yeah.
So if you get, then it's the same as any product, service, whatever. If you pay peanuts, you're going to get a monkey, aren't you?
Yep.
And if you want to pay the right, it's not about being expensive or cheap. It's about being good value for what you're getting.
Yeah.
Which can be determined by, obviously the standard, but it's about trying to get that fair level that people feel like they're getting. Everyone can get a good deal in a situation.
Yeah.
Whether it's labour supply or tiling or contracts, or everyone doesn't at the moment. I feel like there's a narrative of let's all screw each other over, rather than let's all help each other out, actually, because that can also work.
Yeah.
Which people don't seem to think like that, but it's because it's been going on for so long.
Yeah.
If you get a collaborative approach, which is why the clients we work with most, we are an extended part of their business. Like we're their first line of defence in recruitment. We're not an agency.
First line of defence.
Yeah, another one. we're not funneling CVs going, let's earn some commission. Let's earn commission. Like I'm not happy if people don't work out, because it's like I feel responsible for that.
Well, customer satisfaction is everything, and no matter what business you're in, you need people to think I want to work with them again.
Yeah,
because if you're just there for a one hitter quitter, there's no longevity.
Little drop.
Yeah,
there's some big.
Are you writing all these down now?
Bonjour.
Work chat to one side. London to Paris.
Yes.
What did you think? Have you been out on your bike every week since, Sam?
My bike is in the exact same position I left it exactly 12 months ago.
It is a year ago.
It is a year.
We cycled to Paris a year ago.
Was it the 4th of October?
No,
it wasn't.
But
literally in 2 days.
No joke. My bike is in the exact same position. I wish I should have took a photo so I could send it to you. It is in the same position.
That was a good crack, wasn't it?
Oh, it was incredible. I really got off there going, I'm going to carry on cycling.
Yeah,
I'm going to carry on cycling. But I quickly was like, I've done it.
Yeah.
Tick.
Yeah.
Buy a bike. No more.
We went out on a boat. Lewis's boat. Went out on his in the summer, and got off it. And I went on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, I think we need a boat. And then and I was like, every day or everything you do, come away from it. I think we need this,
because you're inspired.
Yeah. I never get through to do it.
It was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. I think, like hands down. Like it was so hard. I think we made it harder for ourselves. With the with the drinking in the late night.
With the temperatures,
with the drinking in the late night,
the lack of hydration,
yes. We could have really good have done with some construction sport aqua minerales on tap, but it was a hell of an experience. Like
John Smith,
it was so fun. It was so fun in parts. Surrey was not fun. That was one of the worst days of my life. That was so hot, so hard, all uphill. My body is not made for up.
Yeah. Day 3, the morning for me was a little bit tough.
That was the best moment on the best journey of my life.
But when he fell off,
Yeah.
at the start, we were like, here we go. We all rolled in.
3 yards into day 3, the first part of day 3 cycle. I was on my arse. It was a steep hill to start with.
What do you think is going to happen when you get like? There's a handful of rugby lads that played rugby for a long time. There's like friends, like we all know each other. We've all known each other for a very, very long time. Do you know what I mean? You put us all in the same room. And
Yeah.
Whose idea was it to get a hotel with a ginormous casino?
Literally
attached
30
to it?
yards away from the door.
Genius.
Yeah.
That was genius.
Yeah.
Because that did us all the incredible favours.
So funny.
I remember in that morning, I went down and I was just staring at a bowl of fruit thinking, you absolute prick. What have you done?
Did you just like look in the mirror in the morning and go,
Yeah.
I think I left a sock on the floor in my room and I was like, I'll just leave it there. I can't bend over to pick it up. Just didn't feel with my head ache. I just left it.
Yeah, it's not great when you bend over and you can feel the pulse in your head.
Yeah, literally that. I was like, sock can stay.
When you fell over though, I was behind Alex and he was like, Geoff, he's going. Crunch.
Yeah, and he had the camera running.
Yeah,
I
it's
fell
brilliant.
off once. But that was cool though, wasn't it? That going down that route from to Paris, wasn't it? That old railway line.
Yeah.
Quality.
The day 2 was wicked. Like that whole scene was amazing.
Yeah.
That was definitely my favourite day probably because it was the most flat.
Yeah.
But
and no cars. There was no traffic.
No, yeah, that was it,
No,
wasn't it?
it was amazing.
It was a
We saved the
35
dog.
mile.
Saved the dog.
Yeah.
Saved the dog.
Frederic.
The chat.
It was absolutely.
The Shan. The Shan.
Nah.
Yeah, because I was calling it the chateau. The chateau. I was going, chateau. Just like
Isn't that
shouting.
mansion in?
Yeah,
What
castle.
was that? You
is
just
something
saying
like
French
that? And all
words.
these
Was
people
thinking,
around
"Oh,
me just-
fromage, fromage."
There's a guy on his bike running around down cycling as fast as he can, just shouting out castle.
Yeah, no wonder they don't like
It's
us.
husky. He went for miles. Yeah, we got it though. Saved the day.
That was an incredible experience. I mean,
It's good.
I definitely would do it again.
Who fell off? Was it your fault that girl fell off? We got in Paris. Did you get off your bike and she?
I think she blamed me.
Like
Are you not being accountable? For it?
Well, you know the rules of the road. I haven't got eyes in the back of my head. Yeah. If I break, you must break as well.
I think it's got off that. Hey, and she just hadn't clipped out at all.
I don't think she got her cleats. She just-
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, it's sad. All that.
Look, I must admit, right? Like, I've done some cool things in my life, but going up the Champs Elysees or whatever it's called, I was butchered Champs Elysees, whatever it is,
Yeah.
with a cold beer, riding towards
Yeah,
the Arc de Triomphe. That was
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Like everyone's cheering you on as well. They love it out
That was
there.
a
Like,
real buzz at the Eiffel Tower, wasn't it? When we was there.
Yeah.
yeah.
And just
Yeah.
like-
I mean, the buzz definitely come crashing down when they were like, "Oh, we've got to ride 5 miles to the
I know.
hotel," and we were like, "Oh, right, okay, my bum hole's bleeding, but I've got to do another 5 miles back to the hotel, thanks."
And it was like really
Standstill
slow as
traffic.
well, weren't it? Like it was like the most packed city I've ever seen.
yeah,
And it was like, right, this is now dragging a little bit.
yeah.
And then what did we go in for like 5 minutes?
It was.
and
So I
then
remember
straight
that
back
10
out
years
again.
ago, and it was like that stretch. My right knee was hurting me. I was just fucking fuming. I was like, I just want to get off this bike.
Yeah.
It's so much pain.
I know we're meant to advocate like good habits and all that on this podcast and stuff like that. And, I know that's sort of the target, but definitely that was the best beer I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And downed it
Yeah.
very fast, and it actually come out really fast as well because it was horrible. The French beer that we had like in that little bar, like still in mid tighties, and down this beer thinking I was an absolute lad, and just went straight away. I was like, oh no, all the French love the
it's so
English, didn't
funny.
they?
Yeah.
To be fair, it all come out of me like when we arrived there, like getting serious for a minute because obviously I had like my boy was in hospital and like my wife said like go, like it was the weirdest feeling like that. As soon as I stopped and we'd done it,
But you
it was
doubted
like,
yourself.
oh.
You'd really not say doubt yourself.
No, I
but
did.
You
I did.
did. You put yourself. You was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You everything that could go against you in your head did go against you, did it? And then you got it done, and that was the.
Yes,
was
I'm
the-
pretty good at that. I did that like my whole rugby career with you. So, like I took myself out of games. So like I'm sitting there in the changing room. Oh, I don't want to
But
play.
then
I
you
don't want to play.
delivered.
Don't want to play. I don't know. There's just a weird. I think there's something that I personally
Yeah,
deal with that when I do something like this, I talk myself out of it to the point that I end up
yeah.
doing okay.
I just get to the position of just don't think about it
Yeah.
until you get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but that's probably what happened, isn't it? That you blocked it out because you were there. And then it's like, right, well, it's like reaching the summit and going, all right, well, what now then? And then it kind of, all the emotion can then come back up, can't it? And then you're sort of back into the real world.
Yeah.
That lasted about 5 minutes though, and then we went out and got absolutely
Yeah.
hammered. We found O'Reilly's, didn't we? In
I was
Paris.
gonna say
All of the
Irish
culture,
bar.
all of the
That's
culture,
good.
all of the culture. We went and found O'Reilly's.
Yeah,
much
and
fun.
we stayed there the whole night as well. Was it a whole night?
Yeah,
it
we
was.
a
We
long
did.
time.
Yeah, we did.
It was a long time. After we ditched the
Yeah.
party because it was a nice, eloquent
Oh,
party.
oh,
like,
yeah.
like the rugby Centurions. Because
Yeah.
so it was like the champagne was nice and the food was like we thought we were going to sit down and have massive
Yeah.
steak frites and it was all like finger food
Yeah.
and we were like, this is pap.
Buffet.
Can we
I've-
can
Yeah.
we please leave?
It's not normally like me, but I hit a wall and was like, I'm getting out of it now, and took myself home responsibly after 15 pints.
Yeah.
And then literally found a chicken shop of some description. And
Yeah.
bought 2 massive double-breasted chicken burgers, and then 1 dirty fries of everything. And I ate all of it.
Nice.
I woke up in the morning. It was just literally like a car crash of a chicken
Yeah.
shop. Next
I mean,
to
we
me.
got
And then I
in
felt
in very, very late. And to be honest with you, like after riding
For 3 days.
180 miles and your body is
Yeah.
screaming for electrolytes and stuff, all we did was drink and not eat.
Yeah.
The next day, I
They're
felt
funny, but it was
I
so
felt
good.
superb. The next day,
Yeah. 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 It was up there, and then you got to sit on a train all the way back,
Yeah.
and
to
then
King's Cross Youth
yeah, it was
Centre.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'll
was
do it
good.
again though.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Next year, we're going to do one.
Yes,
East
you've
Coast,
said.
West Coast to East Coast. More to come on it.
That is a lot further as well.
Yeah.
Do you know how many miles
that
that
is? a
is?
Challenge.
It's like
400
200. What?
in total.
Is it?
390 over 4 days. So you're on 90 to 100 miles a day.
What, across Wales to Ipswich? Or are you doing it across
It's Somerset. Somerset.
oh, it's Somerset now?
Is this set in stone? Because I probably need to start training. Try and
Yes.
lose some weight.
And it's not
Second
like
episode.
Britain
I've got,
was
a
the
couple of,
hardest
I've got a
part.
couple of meetings next week with the projects. What we can.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And,
Can we do legs of it?
Yeah.
Can I have an
Don't
electric
talk
bike?
yourself out of it, boys.
No,
You
I'm
sit
doing
down.
it. I'm
Yeah.
doing it.
Can I have,
You
can I have
better
an electric bike?
Yeah.
bring your
Bring
little
your mate.
stabby
Bring
thing
your-
with
bring
you
your
this
mate.
time, so you make sure you don't get
Your your mate John Smith might want to lend you his bike.
Or his hand?
His
Yeah.
hand
Can I
to
just
push
super
it.
glue his hands to my
That's so
arse?
the
funny.
hand of John,
Yeah. It's so-
So, very powerful,
Yeah.
manly
John's
hand.
hand.
big bare hand.
So what else has it been? Rugger. You're done with rugger now, are you, Sam?
Yes,
Rugby quiz.
Yeah,
However, jiu-jitsu is on the scene.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
So I got you into it, got you in there,
You did.
and ditched you.
You did. To be fair, again, that was another thing
Love it.
that I was completely talking myself out of for ages. I
It
was like,
was.
oh, I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. Oh, what's it going to be like? Oh, no.
It was all
And
his
then
birthday,
you was
wasn't
like, I'm
it?
going to go. And I was like, all right, I'm going with you. We got in there. Steve did 3 sessions and then fucked off.
Sam,
that was it.
Sam couldn't picture me. I was like, I can't be here anymore.
Maybe Steve was a bit threatened by the ability that you were going to reach, and so he quit whilst he was not ahead.
Or
just let
the thought
you-
of me pancaked on him every
Oh.
week. It's not nice.
That was awesome. Yeah, we just had so much. I've got so much going on. I keep looking. I go every Tuesday with Benji. Benji
Yeah.
does it, and I love it. And every time, I'm like, yeah, I'll be back next week. Yeah,
I'm going
I'll
to
be
get my
back
boy
next week.
into it, I think, now.
Yeah,
now he's
Benji's really
turning
enjoying it.
3 in a
He
couple
got
of
his
weeks.
second stripe last week. Benji did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So
It's enlightening.
it's so good.
Yeah, you sound like you really enjoy it.
But do you know what, for me, because obviously you played rugby for 15 years or whatever it was, if you're play sports like that, to just stop playing sports like that, and I'm talking like rough, you
Yeah.
know, like where you feel
Yeah.
like you kind of miss it. So when I was like, oh, I'm going to cycle, and I did the Paris thing, and that was awesome because it was a proper challenge. But after that, I was like, my Saturdays are not going to involve me going and riding around the countryside. It's not me.
Yeah.
So this, like,
Having your
I-
arse pummeled.
I need
Yeah,
to
like-
be beaten up.
like I get,
Oh, yeah.
I go to jiu-jitsu and afterwards I feel pain, like, you know, you got aches, you feel like you've got bruises, like you're hurting, and
Yeah.
you feel like, oh yeah, I've done something.
Yeah.
That I really
Yeah.
enjoy that. And
Yeah.
I think that with it as well, it's just as physical as rugby, but it's without the pace and running impact, isn't it? So it's
Yeah.
almost like you don't actually, you're not.
Ideal.
Well, I say you're not. I say you're not going to break a bone, but you've already snapped someone's collarbone, haven't you?
yeah,
What,
unfortunately.
jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't through. It wasn't through me.
Savage.
Just
No. I feel
got a
terrible.
message.
I feel it wasn't through me being ultra graceful with some incredible armbar attempt or something like that. We were both like just got our first stripe, so I think we were both like, oh, let's have a spar. It's our first sparring session.
Yeah.
And he jumped to me back trying to choke me, and I just like toppled forward, and he fell off my back and onto his face and his collarbone, and yeah.
So
and both
you've
his-
got your first victim of jiu-jitsu. Like you are a bone
He's
breaker.
hospitalised. Yeah, the crusher.
That is like Mr. Miyagi.
So I'm in the group. I'm in the group, and this guy was like, it showed, I think he'd got to hospital, and then I put that picture of his X-ray. I was like, it's broken. And then, I don't think you just put on there, oh, mate, how you getting on? Like, how'd you get on? Are you okay?
Yeah.
He's like, no, mate, it is broken. And I was just like, shit, Sam, what have you done?
Yeah,
So
I didn't feel good about
I
it.
think your words were like, I panicked, so I just done a front flip.
No, I
to get
did.
out of
Like
something.
I panicked a little bit because he was going to choke me out. So I kind of like judo throwed him over my shoulder, but it wasn't technical. And because we were both so inexperienced, he didn't tuck in or roll with it or
It's
anything
not
like that.
his fault.
He just went straight on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And yeah, I felt awful.
Did he
To
come
be-
back?
No,
No.
no, he hasn't.
You've
been,
ruined
but
his
yeah,
career.
probably.
Bad, man. How can you live with yourself?
Hey?
Have you given him any water?
I took his
He'll
stripe.
be back. He's gone to another one. He's gonna come back like black belt in 2 years.
Yeah.
Where is
beat you
he?
up.
It was like, I took his stripe off the belt and put it on mine. And was like,
That's mine. Thanks for
mate,
coming.
Jiu-jitsu is the most humbling sport ever. Because like I was saying to you earlier,
What, more than golf?
golf's rubbish. Golf is. We need to adjust the industry, like socialising to something better than golf.
There's
Golf-
quite a few people, seniors, that like to go do jiu-jitsu with.
Yeah,
Quite cool.
yeah. There's
Shove their
there's
hands
probably a
up
few
their
clients that I'd like to take.
Yeah.
Like jiu-jitsu is like so humbling. Like now that I've gone into a different class now, and I'm like definitely at the bottom of the pile again. And it's like there's a guy half my size ties me in knots,
Yeah.
taps me out like 4 times, and you're like so unassuming, so quite. And that's what's so awesome about it, because I bumped into him in Chelmsford on Sunday in his everydays, and you think, mate, if you was in the street, you'd look at him and go,
can't-
not scared. This
you
guy
can't-
is like, this guy would absolutely have most people I know in knots, and
Yeah.
that's what's amazing about the sport.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I've ever done for myself. Like I was missing something in my life. I needed something in my life, and I couldn't figure out what it is. And I got you to thank for that. So thank you.
That's not
If you wanna
I'll
come
help
back,
you out.
Any
Sorry.
point.
I'll just be when you're in the cage one day, Emma, UFC, just remember me.
No, I'm
Yeah.
soft. I'm soft. I don't do punches. I don't do punches. I'll go home.
Yeah.
Geoff, did you get your bike back out? Because you was sold to it, but was
Yeah.
that because we had the aim of London to Paris going? So is there something in us what is like we need to bang?
It's the goal.
We need to set a
Yeah.
goal. Yeah.
I
Set
think
a goal.
it's
Set a
the goal.
date. Don't fuck about. You got to
Yeah.
do it.
I think
And
it's like
then
the honeymoon
push it.
phase, don't you? Get
Because
that
none of
honeymoon.
us have been on our bikes, have they? I don't think if James has been on his bike.
Well, I actually did get out on the bike. I was back out on it, and then my I had an injury, shall we say, during the summer.
Go on,
Have you heard about
elaborate.
this?
Elaborate. You like this, Sam? You like
No.
this one? I've
So,
told a lot of people.
Have
this.
you?
And now we can broadcast
So
it.
my
It's not that infection, is it?
No,
Has that
no,
gone away?
no,
Oh, right.
no, that went a while
The
ago.
cream worked.
Yeah, cheers for the cream. No, it was my daughter's first sports day, and
Now,
so I didn't want to do the dad's race, but I got egged on to do it, and
He sat in a pair of spikes. And
my
I didn't want to do it.
my significant other was like, stop being a pussy, basically.
Fair play.
So I did it, and I didn't pull one hamstring. I pulled both of them, and then I passed out at the finish line.
that's tragic. Now your son's going to get bullied for
Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he
I
won't
was-
because I'll send him to jiu-jitsu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But so that actually wiped me out for like 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't like I'd seriously done something bad to
Just
my
on the
hamstring.
walk,
Yeah,
didn't you?
Yeah,
just
I
on the
wouldn't.
walk.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to go outside either after
Yeah,
something like that.
no. So I was like,
Did you
I was
rest
bedbound.
Yeah, tore
I done my groin on the dad's race last year. I wasn't there this year, but something went pop in my groin. I was like, oh, that ain't good.
I'm sitting
Yeah.
there. I'm sitting there laughing, but like ever since quitting rugby, there's been no need to run in any way, shape, or form, right? And I had to my son was chasing me the other day, and I took a bit of a lengthy stride, and I was like, oh my lord, my hips are like
Yeah.
so like tight now.
Yeah.
From just, like-
I went to Surrey in the morning and then sat in the van for 2 hours, was on site for a couple of hours or meeting, then come back for a couple of hours in the van, got back, quickly got my trainers and shorts on, went over to the school sports day, sat down for an hour watching the school sports day, got an ice cream or two whilst doing it.
Or two.
or two
Yeah.
with sprinkles.
Yeah.
And sauce.
And then got up, done a 60-metre uphill dash and pulled my groin. I was like, why have I done that?
Yeah.
I've never done that injury before.
Getting
Yeah.
old,
Then
lads.
you look
Like,
at
you can't do it
you
anymore.
look at your prep for that day. I was like, oh yeah, I'm just
Yeah,
cramped
it's no
up my van
surprise,
all
is
day.
it?
You drank 4 monsters.
Yeah.
wasn't hydrated. So yeah, that just goes to show.
Yeah,
Gotta be ready.
but I think going back to the cycling though, like if we didn't have a goal, or do you know what it was for me? It was more like the pressure of potentially failing.
Yeah.
Is what pushed me
Yeah.
to do it, but then actually when you get through that, you then start to say, actually, I'm really enjoying this now. But it's that initial kind of fear of failure, like I was getting, because none of us really knew what to expect. I know you've done it before, but I didn't know what to. I didn't know how hard
It's
it was going to
that-
be.
I'm gonna if I don't want to be if it's gonna be tough for me, but I don't want to look like the biggest hit, isn't it?
Yeah.
As long as I make sure I'm not.
Yeah.
I think you actually said. Did you say one too? You said you just don't want to. Oh, there was something. Who said it? There was something about just being the person at the back, just not being the person.
Yeah,
at the back.
well, it wasn't even that. It was just like it actually turned into a team sport.
Yeah,
didn't
it was.
Yeah,
We
Oh,
managed
yeah.
to turn
Yeah.
an individual
Really good.
event into a massive team sport,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't have done it like without each other, to be
No.
honest.
No,
But
agree.
I was like, I don't want to let everyone else down.
Yeah.
Now that I don't want to be that guy that can't finish.
You're right. It was even more so than I ever remember. It probably was because the crew of us had done it, but it was more of a team sport.
Oh,
than you'd
massively.
actually realised,
You,
didn't
you,
it?
you,
Yeah.
well, you buzz off each other, don't you? Like, I even going cycling on my own, I do find it a little bit boring.
Yeah.
Even if you're with someone else, it's that companionship almost. But then I think where everyone was at different levels, and it was, we're all pretty much hungover, but it was, everyone we were waiting, and there was never like it was no one was out for themselves. Do you know what I mean? It was all like collaborative, and it was that camaraderie, which I think that's what made it as good as it was. Like you all succeeded or you all failed together.
We've seen it a lot in all the events we're doing now. So it's like the fascinating thing for it all was the camaraderie and the community it builds. If we looked at what comparison, all these events we've done, football, rugby, cycling, walking, what is it that keeps them working?
Yeah.
So we'll look at the WhatsApp group each one's created. And then literally when we've got an event planned, everyone starts chirping in. It was like, I think it's people realise there's like-minded people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same boat, and none of us are professionals in this world either. So,
No, and it's like we're all going to struggle through it
yeah,
together,
You need-
which
Yeah.
is kind of like what half of the problem is in
We
the
had
whole
it.
world, isn't it? That
yeah,
no one talks enough.
Yeah.
Because when you actually get round to having a chat, and I'm broad brushing here, like I'm talking
Yeah.
about everything.
Mm.
But when you actually sit down and have a conversation with parents, co-workers, whatever it may be about something that's going on in your life, usually they've been through it.
Yeah. It's never as bad as it seems, either, is it? Like,
no.
Yeah.
We could noticed as well on a few walks we'd done early doors years ago, where it was a bit like you had a few people up front and they were moaning because it wasn't fast enough and all that kind of stuff. And it was, I didn't really know how to deal with it at the time, but I do now. I literally, if you've got people at the front wanting to pace, I'd stick them at the back. I'm like, the people at the back need you to help them. If you're that good,
Yeah.
you can help.
Yeah,
people.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
you're not here to. We're not
Yeah.
here to race.
No.
And I'm not afraid to tell people just to go Foxtrot Oscar now. Just like
Yeah.
you're not fucking part of it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like we need you to be part of this. If you're that good,
Yeah.
help carry the team with us.
Yeah.
And that's worked massively.
I think
I think-
some of the most meaningful conversations I've had with industry professionals have been on those walks
Yeah.
with people that I don't actually even know.
Yep.
And it's like you're 10 hours into a walk.
Yep.
You're pretty tired, and you're talking about some like really deep shit. Like
10 hours is a long time.
Yeah.
You got a lot to talk about.
and but
Yeah.
like it's almost like I remember saying this to you last time, like the gloves and the masks are off at that
Yeah.
point, aren't they?
So
like
it's
you are
gone.
just purely, you can just, and it's not like about being soppy and that's the whole problem, isn't it? About the talking
Yep.
thing. Like
Yep.
I feel like people feel more open to actually chatting about anything, family, work,
Yep.
sport, whatever.
There's something to do with what do you call it, the psychology of it or the science behind it, whatever kind of big word there is behind it. If you're walking with people and you're shoulder to shoulder, both looking in the same direction and not directly looking at each other like we are now,
Yeah.
but there is something in that where people can feel naturally more comfortable. They're just getting it off their chest,
Yeah.
not thinking this person's judging me because they can't see
Yeah.
the reaction.
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
person.
Yeah. It makes
There is
sense.
something, yeah. I'm
Also,
sure somehow.
any sort of physical exertion and like something challenging generally brings out stuff out of you
Yeah.
that you might not usually,
Yeah.
because it releases all sorts of
There was
chemicals
the
to make you
stu-
feel good about yourself, and like you actually feel like, oh, I'm going to have a chat about this. You
Yeah.
know,
And
like-
that's what started it all from day one was the Crossrail one in 2016
Mm.
when we walked for 3 days and it was fucking so hard.
Mm.
And it was like the HS2 one, yeah, but it
Yeah.
was so hard. But then you realise, and like only a few months after, you're like, I'm ready to do it again. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah, that's the male ones we've done. Yeah, HS2 again, that was an absolute killer. But you look back at it and go, how fun was that? How good that was. And the pain of it disappears.
Yeah.
The glory lasts forever.
Well, that's it though,
My
isn't
invite
it?
get lost in the post, did it?
Yeah.
By the way, I'm sure you look at me and go, he's not a walker. Like this little steps.
Geoff was in the shadows of the WhatsApp group. You was on it, wasn't you? And then you bowed.
Yeah, what I think was it?
Talk yourself out of it.
No,
He tore both his hamstrings at sports day.
Was it my son's? Was it son's doing my boy? I can't remember. Anyway, I'll do it next time.
Families
Yeah.
take over a lot of time.
Yeah, but
They
you
do.
got there though, and you done the ride. So I'm kind of in awe of that. Really, I should have done the walk.
How do you find it juggling life? Kids with all in kiddie positions now,
Um,
and work and play and.
Well, funnily enough, we were having a little chat about it a minute ago, actually, that I feel like actually having Teddy, obviously got another one on the way now, has...
Hey!
It still works.
Let in the pencil!
Let in the pencil. Yeah, something like that.
Hopefully, it's your lead.
Easy. Do spend a lot of time out now. I found having kids is like really sobered me up, to be honest. Like not in the literal sense, you know, like there's not a lot in life worth worrying about. I don't, you know, apart from what's actually going on in your little circle, you know. The only thing I was saying to Geoff, I find I'm personally, if you couldn't tell, struggle with my weight, and that's the only thing that because I work hard. I exercise a lot. That's not my problem. You know, I balance work okay. Like I work a lot of hours, obviously doing what we do.
Yeah. I
put a lot of effort into my exercise, and my wife is fine with that because she understands that that's like important. But the one thing I'd say that I probably don't look after myself as much as I look after everything else around me, which is probably
that's men.
That's probably men in general. That I definitely. Well, look, I if I put as much effort into actually myself as I do various other things in my life, then
I think it will come as well, won't it? Like in general, not so for you. I think when I always find it like a period of time, maybe we've got young kids, and then but later on when they get a little bit more settled, when they can start doing stuff a bit more themselves, it's more
very
independent.
Yeah, it's very full on when they're young, isn't it? Because you've got, I mean, we're all quite lucky in that we've got understanding partners, and we're all on sort of ventures of entrepreneurship in a way, aren't we? Like we've all got opportunities to go and do well, and that unfortunately that doesn't come without sacrifices. So you're a bit like me, where like I actually had this conversation yesterday with my missus, and she was saying like I said like I need to get back in the gym.
Yeah.
But I was like, at the moment I've either got an opportunity to work or I've got an opportunity to work out. And if I work and I get a certain level of income, that means all you are sorted. So it's almost like, it's not like self-sacrifice because we're not at war or anything like that. But do you know what I mean? It's like, I think you will, and certainly as a parent, like you'll find yourself putting other people before you, but then it is to your own detriment, because then if you're not.
Which is almost ironic, isn't it? Because doing what we do, where you're self-employed, if you don't look after yourself,
then there is
then all of it comes crumbling, which is the ironic thing about it, isn't it? But it's really hard to do it all, and unless you're David Goggins and we're all getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do everything before that, we do all of that. Then which most of the world isn't. You know, like we all have willpower clearly, because you have to have willpower, but it's all nestled in different places.
But
we had a special human to do it all.
We had a chat and was actually looking at it and said, even from a marketing perspective of showing construction workers how to help themselves, look at showing them how to help their mates more and support the people around them, because they will do more. They will do something for if they got someone who's struggling, they'll help them. Like now, like straight away. Whereas if you say someone help yourself, I'll sort that later. You know what I mean?
Well, how many times? I mean, I've been there many a time where I'm like, you're kind of on a road to self-destruction without realising it. Like it's late nights, it's going out for beers with clients, it's then getting up at the crack of dawn, you're operating in a not necessarily fittest, healthiest state. And you're just killing brain cells doing it daily. And there is a certainly for us, like our thing with the business over the last couple of years was we stopped going out on big nights out with clients and candidates. We just stopped the boozing. So we now go for breakfasts and stuff like that. And it's actually like these big nights out that you're going out with clients where you're thinking it's winning you work and all that. Half of it you can't remember. And the other half of it, there's just a free piss up for everyone.
And you've ruined the morning a day
And you've spent half the day thinking about it. You spent the whole night battered, and then you spend the whole either half day or next day feeling like crap, trying to work out what you've done. And you actually know further forward.
Yeah.
So we like even the Christmas thing, like we used to religiously buy loads of booze for people at Christmas and stuff like that, and completely knock that on the head. We were like, we'd rather get people like something that's actually of use to them. This is why, like, where the golf thing or the sport thing for us, like we'd rather go and take a client for a round of golf or do something that they want to actually do, rather than just going, right, well, let's go and get battered and see what happens. Because it's just trying to make those healthy changes that are, like I say, much more meaningful. If we go for a meeting and we have a breakfast, we have a much better productive time because we have a meeting, we get cover what we need to cover, then we go and do the work, and it's like, actually, we've smashed that. That's perfect. We've got more business out of that than we ever have from getting smashed.
How's new HQ? Now you're closer to home. You prefer it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah. Well, I moved to Southend a couple of years ago, and obviously we were in Romford.
Yeah.
That I just couldn't do the A127. It was just killing me. Like, it's taking like 2 hours to drive 29 miles. There was actually days I was like, I could cycle here quicker.
Yeah.
Obviously I didn't.
Going back into Southend from Rady Weir inwards is the whole of Southend. That area is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
So
I've seen that over the years. Just
no, it's good. It's I say summer by the sea this summer, but we didn't really have one to be. But we're in London a lot anyway. Like we're in London
train
a couple of times a week. Yeah, it's fine.
Are you a C2C man? Or
I'm a C2. I live at Fort Bay, so the C2C goes to my house basically, which is nice.
Was it? You had the story of going back on the train and ended up out that way multiple times, and you missed kickoff on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, that was during the glory days. So basically,
elaborate.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sam. Very good.
Yeah.
He loves the stitch up, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So this was just,
a great story.
I think what happened was I used to, during the sort of, I don't know, we must have been really young 20s. I was, so he was mid 20s maybe. So like I used to struggle for a bit to get picked by the first team, and that's all I wanted was to get picked by the first team, and I didn't get picked again. So I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna go out and smash with the first team because they didn't have a game on the Saturday. Right. So I was like, I'm gonna go out with the boys, get hammered, and I'll just get up and play. I'll be all right. You know, it's only the twos. You know, so we went out and I can't remember what the bar was called, but it was by Liverpool Street, like, and it was the best bar. It had a light up floor, like a proper old school disco floor. Can you remember what it was called?
Dirty Martini.
No, it was a little bit further in, sort of. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called, but it was awesome. Anyway, we was just doing what a bunch of rugby lads would do and got absolutely obliterated. We were drinking these things called like, I think they were absinthe bombs or something. So it was like Red Bull. And anyway, so we were getting suitably lit up, and as soon as we stepped outside, the fresh air hit me like a train.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
like an absinthe bomb.
Yeah. all of a sudden, I'm like, I can't stand up. Oh no! And like I'm toppling, and I couldn't stand up. I was gone. I absolutely gone. And a friend went and was like, stay here. I'm gonna go and get a cab, and we'll get home. Well, he come back, and I was gone. I was like a balloon that had been let go of into the air.
Floating around.
Just floating around the sun. I think I do have like short memory flashbacks of like making my way into a cab, not even being able to talk. And he was like, yeah, that's like 15 quid, mate. And I was like, and he just went, just get out. And then that's all I remember. 6 a.m, I reckon. I woke up. It was like, look around, and I'm in like Liverpool Street's ticket office.
Oh, yeah. You'd made it about 4 yards.
Yeah. Sound asleep, surrounded by people. I had all my stuff. My trousers were up. So like, all my money in my wallet.
Violations.
No violations. Everything was in my pocket, and I was like, right, okay, this is all right.
Yeah.
Right, I was still obliterated, obliterated. Got on the train, blacked out, woke up in Southend. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm meant to be playing, by the way, so I've got a game in 2 hours. Got back on the train. Woke up in Liverpool Street.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I was like, Jesus. Got back on the train. Woke up in Rochford. I need to get off in Wickford. So I've gone past it 4 times. Got back. So after this, I just went, right.
What time was it at this point?
About 8 in the morning. Got in a cab and at Rochford and got a cab home. No money, nothing. So hammered.
Yeah.
That I told the bloke to drop me. So he pulled up to my house. I told him my exact address.
Yeah.
And I jumped out the cab and ran in the front door. Done a runner. But I was outside my house. So I've gone running in and he's just like, what's this twat doing?
Yeah.
He's wandered in, knocked on the door of my old man's arts. He's gone, your son's just done a runner. Like, could you give me the money for the cab? And he was like, okay. So I've blacked out. I'm straight into bed, blacked out. Meant to be playing in a couple. I woke up at about 3.
Right.
I went down the rugby club.
I won't be turned up.
I went down the rugby club just to see what was going on, and everyone was absolute daggers. And I was like, what's going on, lads? They were like, we lost today because we only had 14 players.
Oh no.
And we lost by like a couple of points. So
cheers for that.
Yeah, cheers for that.
Oh,
Thanks for not showing
shit.
up. And I was like, it's all right, but I didn't get picked for the ones for about a year.
Really?
After that. Yeah.
Was it? Did
Yeah,
you-
yeah,
yeah.
like no, I didn't get picked. I didn't get picked for ages for that. And like that was, I mean, the thought of doing that now, actually, as a, coming on 33, I know that's not old, but
Yeah.
those hangovers now, I cannot deal with. Like,
You'd have to have the Monday off. Yeah.
I felt fine.
Yeah.
I was drinking. I had a pint in my hand at 4
Yeah.
because I was just, I said it,
Back
start
in the
drinking again.
Yeah.
But I felt fine.
Yeah.
Those, as soon as you clear 30, those hangovers are just
Oh, they hit you.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Different. But yeah, thanks for that, bringing that up again.
That was brilliant.
that-
I enjoyed that.
that is
That was
a-
worth the whole time.
horrendous when we was degenerates.
Yeah.
But
so funny.
those are the best years of our lives,
The
really.
youngsters don't do it anymore, do they, Alex?
No, non-drinkers.
All the woke clock coming up.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's
It's a good thing. It is a good thing.
we could
Probably
actually
something to be
feature-
taken
For the
from
benefit
that.
of this
We could
podcast and
actually-
the well-being of the industry, it's a good thing.
I think that's
Yeah,
why
but-
we're
yeah,
struggling as an industry, because I think people don't want to do it anymore.
You're boring, prick.
I know getting hammered and keep drinking and borderline young
Well-
alcoholism isn't really a good segue. But what I mean is I think people don't want to work hard anymore because construction is hard.
Yeah.
Getting up
Yeah.
at 5 is hard.
Yeah.
Going out in the cold is hard. Getting paid peanuts for the first part of your career is hard. So why would they do that when they could go and swan into university, get some nothing degree, and
Yeah.
then go to work and get all the benefits? You get 3 months
Yeah.
off if your wife gets pregnant now, or I know that's great. I know I'm coming across as a bit of but I think that's why young people aren't getting attracted into this industry, because they're like, why?
Why would I do it?
Why?
Yeah.
Because it takes a while to earn real money.
Yeah.
Like some of my tilers earn real money, but they work really hard.
Yeah, it's an industry you can't hide in either. So you have to be, if you want to earn, you can earn exceptionally good money,
Mhm.
but you won't earn exceptionally good money if you're crap.
Yeah.
And it's. I think the other problem with it is that the barrier to entry is quite low, and that is seen as a negative.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. Construction is still seen as a lesser industry than other
massively.
sectors.
Yeah.
Like that is unavoidably true.
Yep.
But I think ultimately, like you say, it's we're all guilty of it, aren't we? Like it's the path of least resistance for everything now, isn't it? Like even if people don't want to cook food anymore, they get it delivered to their door.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
we are becoming socially lazy,
Yep.
basically, and because it is hard and because the hours are longer than most industries, it's not a 9 to 5 job, is it? What we do,
Nope.
like not
Get
at
up,
all.
beat the traffic. It's freezing cold.
Oh, it's
And
savage, yeah.
so it's from a generation now kind of type structure that we're in.
Yeah.
We are used to getting what we want when we want it for the price we want it, basically, or we'll go and have 10 options to go and get something. Whereas
Attention spans are so short. and
yeah,
demand,
the
everything's-
people just
yeah.
aren't like they. It's just easier to go and try something else, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Like you said, it's that flick,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
sort of
Want it now.
attention span that everyone's got now.
Like, well, we don't get where we are, but Deliveroo and all that stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're just literally, I want some food. I want it now. What do you want?
Yeah.
Anything. And then I can't
And
get
it's
my head
also
around it.
Amazon, you get it same
That-
day. Oh, I want this thing. I need this new draining board. I'm gonna have it delivered to my house
see what-
in the
yeah.
next 2 hours.
Yeah,
And the high streets haven't got a hope in hell, have they? Shops and all that when you're
No.
when they're at the battle. But we see. I can't get my head around when you hear about people having dinners at home as a family, and they'll get different dinners. Like one they get KFC, one they get
Yeah, that's
McDonald's.
weird.
Really?
That's weird.
Yeah, you know, what
I
it's
find
like?
it weird.
And I'm sure there's plenty of people.
Yeah.
So I heard it. People say, I didn't fancy. I had this, and that person had that. I'm like, what? You not
Yeah.
just get the same thing? But,
Yeah. We were talking about this the other day, actually, like the art of, because we, especially in the game that we're in, like we're in such various hours and, like I said, got a very accepting wife that allows me to do like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. That it's very rare that we actually get to sit down and have dinner. So we're like trying to make a point of doing every Sunday. We have a sit down dinner together.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like when we do the house up a little bit, going to make sure that we get a little breakfast table. So we sit, because that's when I do get time with everyone, is actually in the morning.
100%.
Sit down and have breakfast together. Like, I love asking my boy how his day is. It's a load of gibberish. He just tells me about the same two lads. Like, every day goes, "Oh, Jude and Rocky," and that's it. But like, he says it the same thing every time. But it's
in the end, Eddie Hearn onto that. There's Eddie Hearn meme. It's just like, that is strictly confidential information. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Asking me. That is literally Benji comes home from school. Good day, Benji. Yeah. What's you get up to? Nothing.
Yeah.
What'd you say? He's got
it's a child thing, isn't it? Like, what'd you do? I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It was like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
How do you think, like going back into what we were saying, how do you think as an industry we get over this problem? Because it's definitely a problem. The young people not wanting to come into the industry.
I think social media has been really good for it.
How do we get over this problem? This industry, once the foreign labour goes home, if they do, because this country's becoming increasingly difficult to make a living.
Yeah, it's less attractive each
year.
So
why are the guys going to stick around? They're going to go, well, I don't need to be here anymore, because London used to be the big.
Well, it was
I'm going to earn all this money, but I'm
Yeah.
not getting anything out of it now, because I'm putting all of my money that I'm earning into the flat I'm living in. So,
well, if you look at the labour, like certainly for us, so there was an influx of like Australians like 10, 12, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, the first Australian guy I spoke to was a few days ago for like as long as I can remember. So they've all gone back because the rate's really good in Australia. You've got there was obviously an influx of Polish people. There aren't that many Polish people over here now that haven't been here for ages. Like there's no one new coming over. That's the problem. You've either got historic people that have been here a while now and are actually living and rightly so, and fairly enough.
Away, haven't we, I suppose?
But so it's but how do you get someone? And I went to a seminar that Andrew Curtin was involved in. It was a little while ago now, but it did stick with me that it was about Gen Z and how we attract people into the industry and stuff like that. And statistically, people would rather now be
at the cinema.
Yeah. So did you go to that?
Yep.
Yeah. So they would rather be.
Obviously.
Oh, you did? Yes. Sorry, that's why I remember. Obviously, you left such a big part of my life. But they. So the two things that scared me was that Gen Z would rather be an influencer than an Olympic gold medalist.
That's mad, isn't it?
Like, that is a fact that has just not left me and has scared me because, like, at what point
would
you
kids, that was the pinnacle. Imagine being an Olympic gold medalist.
And then it
I
was
nearly made it.
Yeah.
Nearly.
Took a knee.
Tore both my hamstrings at parents.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
But then the other thing was that it was something to do with the fact that they can't looking at social media is like that 80% of them have to look at it every 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is like, that isn't gonna. That
it's
isn't.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's just like that data is for me. It's alarming because how do you then get someone to go and want to be a chippy or a ground worker? And without all of these trades, the industry is on its arse.
Definitely.
Like we need every single person in every trade.
The influencing world, I think, is cool. I've been opened up my eyes to a bit over the last year with On the Tools and what they do.
Yeah.
And they've got us involved with a lot of their stuff. It's been brilliant. There's a lot more coming as well. It's great.
Yeah.
But then I started looking from then and going to their awards and seeing different people and catching them with these people and then looking them online. They've got massive followings. And like these, but they've, like the bricklaying side of it, there's a huge kind of community of bricklayers.
Right.
And they're all putting up as good a videos they can of bricklaying. So in their own community of it, it looks the nuts.
Yeah.
And they're all real decent people.
Yeah.
They're in the world of influencing. They want big numbers. They're all helping each other.
Yeah.
And it's a big kind of community thing. And you see that even with the plumbers, the chippies, all of them ground workers, all these people and a lot of digger drivers and things like that. People would really love it, and you
They're
think
like
if they
taking
can,
pride in it, aren't they?
yeah, massively. Like these guys, I had a mate of mine come last week. I got in touch with him, and he is so passionate. He coming up with a job. He loves digger driving, and he's just like, I want to get into training kids and do more and more. I want my kids to do it.
Yeah.
But like, if you've got to leverage those people, I think it's a bit like
100%.
the rugby's looking at it in terms of they always go, no one's bigger than the game. Like the RFU would be like the play like Johnny Wilkes or whatever, that these players aren't bigger than the game. But NBA and over in America, they fully accept that some people are bigger than the game. And the easiest one to say is Michael Jordan. Like none of us know the rules of basketball apart from put the ball.
But everyone knows who Michael Jordan is.
Everybody knew Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
There's just a kid, wasn't it? And the way he was saying that not being the game, he become the game. That was the game he played. And people walk around where we live in a Michael Jordan shirt, a vest, like
100%,
and you ain't got a clue what.
Well, no one knew. Like, I'm sure everyone watched The Last Dance, didn't they? During lockdown.
But when you get these, you give these people a kind of.
Well, it's giving them the thing is the industry isn't doing it for itself, is it?
No.
So then you have to go right. Well, what's going to do it for the industry then? So then you go right. Let's give these people with social influence a bit of power and a bit of structure and a platform, like you say.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly not working.
They've got
so they need to change it.
And engagement. When you say you need numbers to come in, well, what are people doing? They're all on their phones. What do you want? What are these people got? They've got a clear community there of 10,000.
They've got a line of communication, haven't they?
Yeah. Channel it down there. Get the CITV or whoever it is. They need to get behind these influencing people.
We're definitely in a weird flux. The industry definitely is in a weird place because you've got a lot of the builders that we work for now have these things called social value markers, like and stuff like that you have to hit. Yeah. Right. So like, it's like, what are you going to do for the local community? How much can you do this? Like, how many apprentices you're going to have? Now, like, we might have like 45, 50 guys, but across 15, 20 sites, right? So 2 or 3 on a site. You know, how can we have an apprentice on every single one of those sites when we're a very small trade compared to some? Like brickies and scaffolders and dry liners, you know, they've got like the same amount of people that we've got in the whole firm on one job, some of them, you know, so like they can run these academies and it's brilliant because the industry really needs it, but you can't, it's very difficult to put the same pressure and onus on much smaller companies like the Mastic Man, the Tyler, the painter to a degree, you know, like there's the smaller trades that it's definitely a problem that needs fixing because it's not going to go away. Like my managing director has got a meeting with the CITB in a couple of weeks to discuss this matter because we want to help, but we've done the apprentice thing. They cost a lot of money, apprentices. And then you can't guarantee they're going to stick around. The one apprentice that we got all the way through his training disappeared as soon as he thought he could earn more money. Yeah, we see that a lot. Again, because kids and younger generation want it now. Yeah. You know, like, I want that money now. He's earning $2,000 a week. I want that now. So I'm gonna chase that. And they'll jump from job to job and try and find it. We've had a couple of people literally come to us and we want X amount of money. I'm like, that's big money. And one of them didn't even know how to lift how to hold a bloody scaffold board. You didn't know how to pick up. Stick it on his shoulder. And honestly, he looked like a fucking lump of spaghetti around his neck. He literally just twisted. The problem is, though, that this comes back to the businesses being desperate. Yeah. So they've got jobs that they need bodies on. Yep. And the prospect of not getting works complete and potential LADs and all that kind of stuff, throwing labour at jobs for overinflated rates is part of that problem, because then you get you get overpaid, underqualified people. And then I tell you, the other big problem that we're finding at the moment is in the blue and white collar world, you've got sort of fairly young men and women that are being paid more than they should be, really, in all honesty. Yeah. And they go and get a 50, 60 grand salary and they should maybe on 35, 40, or sometimes like 60 or 70 grand and they should be on 40 or 50. Yeah. They then go and get strapped up with a new car. They go and buy a watch. They go on these fancy holidays. They get debt up to their eyeballs, which is based on their income, which is relative, fine. And as soon as the market slows down or there's a problem, these guys lose their jobs because they're not good enough. So they are instantly identified as being a cost saving. Yeah. And then they can't get a new job
because they've been overpaid,
Yep.
but they then can't afford to take any less.
Yep.
And that's where things like mental health problems arise.
We saw that a lot in the railway world, in people doing that and earning, maxing out their money.
Yeah.
And then literally wives, I say wives because the world who was living there, it was the husbands at work at that on this one project. The family have become,
It's inflated, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
this income.
yeah.
And the husband then is then at a point of the working man then, I say man because it was working men, was in a position like I want to drop back a bit and start seeing more of my kids. But then it can't. But we can't have this holiday. Then we can't then pay for the new Range Rover. We can't then do this. We can't do this.
Pressure of the lifestyle.
Pressure of the lifestyle.
And social media definitely doesn't help that.
So they have to go back to work 6, 7. They have to work. One guy said to me, Steve, I have to work I've worked every Christmas. I've never spent Christmas with my kids because he worked every Christmas.
Yeah.
And by the time the kids were 6, 7, he wanted to have Christmas off with them. But by that time, his wife had left him with the kids, and the kids were always at her. So he was like, "I've just got to work." He literally, his kids at this point,
Yeah,
like
that's really
20
sad.
odd.
That's
He's
sad.
never spent Christmas.
That's really sad.
And
Like,
there's so many people like that.
it's not what life's about.
Their
is it?
lifestyle
No.
can't afford for them to have a day
No.
off in the end. It's savage.
And but this comes back round to there is always some plonker that is prepared to pay more money than someone else. There's always, you've got both ends of the wrong end of the stick. You've got the contractor that's always willing to do it for less money.
Yeah.
And then the other side of that, you've got someone that's always willing to pay more money for the wrong. So it's like a perfect storm of crap, innit? Like,
We going back to the way apprenticeships, because we can see that now, and I can see on our groundwork side, we have not got time for newbies or anyone to come in who's not experienced on a machine.
Yeah.
Because you got to deliver something.
Yeah.
I honestly think there's something there where the main contractor should have, like, if they look at the whole project from start to finish, right, we're going to have ground workers in at the start, the best ones, and then the other less important trades come in.
Yeah.
And good tilers finish it off. But all these people, they know they're going to need sparkies, they're going to need plumbers, and they know they're subbing all that work out to them. Well, can't the main contractor just say, we have an employed apprentice?
We'll fund it.
Yeah, we'll fund it, and we ask you guys to use them throughout the job. And even almost to a certain point, you get them used to different stuff.
That is, for me, a lot more feasible.
Wouldn't it be?
Like, for them to say, look, it's not going to cost you anything, because like that is a big, going right back into the discussion we had earlier about how people in the middle are getting squashed with financially, and now you want us to sort of pay for it. Now, whilst we need to, because the industry needs to, the people with the real money are the contractors.
Yeah.
So if they funded apprenticeships and asked you to manage that, I think that would be a perfectly fair compromise. Like, if they actually allocated you with and look, at the end of the day, if that said person just buggers off because they're not into it, because that happens all the time, then what can you do about that? At least you've tried.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the financial. You have to. It costs a lot to set up.
Yeah, definitely.
Like their school, the programs to put apprentices.
And it's constantly changing as well, isn't it? We're seeing now.
But it's the infrastructure cost of hiring someone, isn't it? It's the time. It's actually the non-measurable cost. It's like the time the cost of the time that you spend training that person. That's the actual.
Yeah.
That's the value loss for an employer. But then obviously it's supposed to be an investment. So the difficulty is, like, you train someone, like you say, as soon as they get a sniff of a higher rate, you've actually just wasted all that time training them. And that's also time that you've then not spent doing other things.
Because even with that, the main contract as well, then people could go through that trade all the way and then end up going on to a managerial one quite in-house as well. Because they could open everything. So I'm going to patent this and we'll have that as our way.
No, but 100%. I think that's where people are so very short-sighted these days, is that they can't see. You know, I know so many blokes that are doing so well as like your project manager now, that they all started.
Yeah. Because you'll see it as well, the programs and pressure is just more and more and more. There's no move. Well, no, what we see, there isn't space within that program type to have someone who doesn't know what they're doing, isn't it?
But I think the thing,
to a certain degree,
with the main con sort of providing the apprentices thing, you say that they would pay for it, and I don't actually know if it is them that's got all the money, to be honest, because you've seen the margins that they're on. I think it's the clients that have got the margin. Yeah. But you would. Everyone would pay for it anyway, because that would come out of somehow, that would be costed into a project. So nothing is free.
The clients are actually the ones pressuring this because you have to employ local labour. It's
Yeah.
not just apprentices,
Yeah.
it's local labour, it's local job starts,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
local charities.
Yeah.
So it's all within the area because they're basically saying, oh, we're causing all the inconvenience of building
Yeah.
these lovely flats for you to live in.
Interesting.
We're sorry to inconvenience you, but you know we're also going to try and find everyone jobs, and it's tough. I'm not definitely not shunting it away. It needs fixing, but I don't think putting all of the pressure on subcontractors is the answer,
Yeah.
especially not smaller ones.
Yeah.
Big sparky firms, big brickies. There's big firms that have set up academies now, but they have the funds to do so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we've got a dry lining client that have got a.
That's what
They've got a
And
dry lining
I
academy.
think that's so good.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant, and the
Yeah.
industry needs more of it. But I just
But
think
you've got to be able to do it, haven't
you
you?
cannot tar the
You gotta know
tiler,
the
or
inside
for
outs.
example, with the same brush as a brickie. Like his package is our yearly turnover.
It's all about the levy system and all that works because that's a
I
full-time
think.
job in itself.
I think
isn't it?
it is
Yeah.
like that's a hard one to navigate anyway with the
Yeah.
CITB. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's a
interesting.
job in
yeah.
itself.
Yeah, the one to bring up with the CITB. I know they're looking at that at the moment, aren't they? Whether they want it, because I know
Yes.
the big firms are creaming it, and they know it inside out, sort of thing, and how to
Yep.
benefit. Where smaller companies just ain't got the time or know
No.
or knowledge, even though they're paid into it all the time.
I think the solutions there just not
Because
quite
they had,
right.
I think it was
now.
over £1 million in the levy pot or something, a bit more than that. 100 million, over 100 million the levy pot or something. And they put it down to the fact that it's because of COVID where people don't need training as much, or they're not training as much. It's like, no, it's more of a case that nobody knows anything about this levy system, how it works. Probably that money's just sitting in with you.
Yeah.
But they are. I speak to Danny Clark at CITB. He's decent guys, and he's getting, I think he's just taken a new promotion there as well, and he's looking at doing as much as he can. So we'll give him the feedback of what we've just said. So sort it out.
Stick a rocket up his Steve.
Yeah, well, it does need fixing because if we all care about this industry, which we
Yeah,
do
for
greatly,
sure.
like
Yeah.
we're all sitting here on the Construction Sport podcast because we really care about
Three
the
of us
industry.
reprobates.
Yeah, because we do generally care
Yeah.
about the industry, and it's our future.
Yeah.
You know, and
Happy days.
and it is the bloodline of
Yeah, it's the
the
backbone of
country.
the industry, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Bloodline, Netflix, watch it.
Yeah.
Decent.
It's
Yeah.
good that. Yeah.
Happy days, gents.
Super.
Thank you very much for your time.
It's been a pleasure.
Hope you've enjoyed yourselves.
I have actually. It's
been really
I've
good.
really enjoyed it. I'm probably not looking forward to how I look on camera. I've heard it adds £10, and also
You did say you were going to say that, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I planned that. I crowbarred that one in. Bonjour. What was it? We was going to a few Frenches, and also I'm a bit bothered about the light because I'm not the most tan bloke as it goes, and I reckon this white light is making me look like a moon.
Don't worry, you look good.
I've just been on holiday for 2 weeks as well. You wouldn't think
Have
it,
you?
would you?
Orange tinge.
No, you haven't.
It was very cloudy in Italy. It was very cloudy in Italy. I
Loads
won't
of
be going back
shade.
in September again.
No, thank you, gents. You're
Thank you.
always
Yeah,
welcome
thank you
to
for
come
having
back
us.
in.
Yeah,
The
it's
idea
very
will
nice.
be to keep people updated and coming in every now
Yeah.
and then. If you have any project wins or big wins at work or
Yeah.
any events going on, or if we're doing any city bike rides, we can come in and drop them down. It's not all about just one guest disappear and come and go.
We
Yeah.
should be like the regulars that come on every
Yeah.
3 months just for
Co-hosts.
to inject it. You know, you can do
Yeah.
the serious ones on another day. This will
We'll
Yeah.
be the regulars.
We'll
That
be like-
people will be like, oh, when are they on next?
like
Uh,
Joe,
you need to
like
have
Joe
it.
Rogan's protect our
Yeah.
parks. We'll give ourselves a name.
Yeah.
Protect our sites.
Yeah.
We would need to do one even when it comes to Rugby World Cups and things like that, and Football World Cups. You have the dedicated team coming in just for
Nice.
the tournament, get you updated. But what is there? We've missed them all, actually, haven't we? They've all been done. Olympics has just finished. World Cup was last year, or Euros. But thank you, gents.
Pleasure,
It's
mate.
been
Thank you.
emotional. Until the
Over and
next
out.
one.
Keep it real.
Au revoir.
Like Ian Bill.
Bonsoir.